my note cards.
All right, here we go. Episode 2, Date Night Dilemma. Welcome and thank you for...
Thanks for shopping with us.
All right, take 2. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Episode 2, Date Night Dilemma. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Matt.
And we're your hosts for the Vows, Vibes, and Virtues podcast. I'm excited for this one. Let's discuss Date Night Dilemma. How to keep the romance in your relationship.
All right, I think we've all been there. It's Friday night. It's been a long work week. Everybody's tired. They're sick. Nobody wants to cook. So what do? You just end up ordering pizza and vegging out on the couch for the rest of the night.
So true. Relatable.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah. It's just, you fall into this rut between work and kids and school and life. You just end up doing the same thing again and again ad nauseum, and it's difficult to break out of that, especially once you fall into it. I think one of the things we miss the most are those Friday nights that we used to go out to a new restaurant or go out to a bar or hang out with friends whenever we wanted to, stay up late watching movies together or going to the movies, just the two of us, and not having to watch the latest kids movie.
What was it even like before kids?
I don't remember.
To even think that we had a life before kids is wild.
I remember thinking I was tired back then.
And we had no idea what tired even was yet.
I didn't know what tired was until I had kids, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, babe? What are we missing? What are we struggling with intimacy?
Okay, well, I definitely think it's easy to get lost. I think you can easily slowly start to become friends in your relationship versus lovers.
Right.
You go through that ad nauseum routine and you fall into this almost black hole of on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And before you know it, you've got a roommate. You don't have a lover. You don't have a partner. You don't have a spouse. You have a roommate. And
Right.
I think it's safe to say that at the beginning of our parenting journey, we had so many things against us with the twins, one in the NICU, one at home. This is all happening during COVID. It's so easy for us to fall into this horrible zombie-like routine.
Yeah. Zombies because we didn't sleep for at least 6 months.
Yeah. Didn't happen.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you what we did during those first couple months when we had the kids because sleep was non-existent. We both had to work. We both had to go back to work. And it was just exhausting between the trips to the hospital and taking care of our son at home and then trying to get to see Lana as much as possible. And there was just no time for you and I. And I think our relationship suffered quite a bit because of that. I mean, there was zero time to do anything.
I mean, even fast forward, here we are 3, 4, now 5 years old. It's still easy to get lost. You've got between work, kids are getting ready for school, you've got extracurricular activities, you've got church. All of these things are time consuming and it's easy to fall back into that rut. And then before you know it, well, crap, they're 18 and it's just you and I, buddy. And have we just become roommates, or how do we continue to keep that spark?
Yeah, for sure. And I think even if you don't have time for those big dates necessarily, it's still important to do the little things. I know when I just go to the store and I'm there picking up a few things, I always try and find something that you might like. I won't say always, but I do.
You
More
think about it.
More
Yeah.
often than not. I always try and get you a little something, whether it's just a little thing of chocolates, or sometimes I'll get you a card or chocolate-covered strawberries, which I know are your favorite. You know, just those little things, and then I get to surprise you with them when you get home or when I get home. A couple days ago when I was going to pick up something for dinner, I had to go pick up some salsa, and because we didn't have time to make our own salsa that night, so I had to go run out and get some. They had an espresso tres leche cake.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I thought,
It's the little
who
things.
in my life would enjoy this? And I thought of you.
It was so good. And I appreciated it. And it's just like that little pick me up that I didn't know that I needed, and it was perfect.
Yeah, for sure. It was good. I tried a couple bites. I won't lie. So, why is it important that we focus on romance in a relationship? I think it's important because your marriage is a living illustration of Christ's love for the church. And it's a vibrant, loving marriage. And it's important for us as Christians to display that in front of other people.
Be an example.
Yeah, be an example, not just to other people outside of our relationship, but also just to our kids. It's very important that we model a Christian, godly, and loving relationship between you and I.
Absolutely. I mean, we're raising our kids, one, to be good humans, first and foremost.
Right.
But two, we've got to think about Wade and Lana, as they get older, what are they going to look for in a partner? We know what they're going to look for. They're going to want exactly what they've grown up and what they've seen.
Yeah, Wade's going to look for a spouse that is like you, basically. He's going to look for a wife that
resembles those traits.
Yeah, traits. And Lana's going to look for a husband that resembles my traits. That can be scary.
Yeah.
Because you're always on guard now. Like, you have to watch what you're doing. You have to watch how you respond in certain scenarios because your kids are always watching, even when you don't think they are.
Oh, they are.
I mean, let's talk about Lana for a second. We'll be talking about something in the car, and I'll say something sarcastic. It's a rare circumstance. I'll say something sarcastic, and Lana will just bust up laughing. She'll have been silent.
Where?
She'll have been silent, not saying anything, and she just all of a sudden just starts laughing at something. And it's the best timing, too, because you wouldn't even think she understood what we were talking about. And it's just all...
Oh, she knows. They both know. They're like little sponges. They are very much aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, for sure. So it's very important that we model that relationship in front of them, but to model that relationship in public. We want to be good examples of disciples of Christ to those around us. What makes us different? Why are we the way we are when other people around us see us?
And it's not just the good. I mean, we're going to argue, we're going to have fights. I mean, you have to be honest and you have to be authentic, and no relationship is perfect.
Right.
If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth working for, and you have to work for it.
Marriage is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full-time job.
Outside of your full-time job.
That you never clock out from, unless, I guess, if you're asleep, you can call that. But as soon as you wake up, like in the middle of the night, somebody's screaming, oh, time to clock in.
Yep.
I'm husband, I'm dad.
And I think it's important, what recently we've found ourselves doing in our relationship is putting God first.
Yeah.
I think that's been really huge for us.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important. God should be at the top, then your spouse, then your kids, then everybody else down below it. And you model that in your daily life, and it really does help.
And well, I think too, a lot of people kind of have it backwards. I mean, I think that we love our kids, absolutely, but it's so easy to almost find yourself, I hate to say it, but maybe worshiping them in a sense. And then, so it becomes your kids, then your spouse, then God. And that is so backwards.
Right. Well, and if your whole life becomes wrapped around your children, what's left for your spouse?
Right. But I think we see that every day. I mean, we see it so often. Especially
with the age that our kids are, because they're so fun.
They are fun.
I mean, we're their whole world to them still. I mean, 5, you're starting to feel some of the edges close in, but I mean, we're still the most important people to them.
Right.
And it's so easy just to get wrapped up in their lives. And then at what point do you step away from that? And at what point do you say, oh, yeah, I've got a spouse here.
I've got a spouse. Oh, wait, what about, when's the last time I sat down and I talked to God? All of these relationships are important. Our kids, our spouse, God. But we can't let one overconsume the other.
Right.
That's how you
got to remember that hierarchy of which relationships are most important. And it's important to know that even if you are focusing on God. We're talking about your daily walk with God, reading the Bible, praying, going to church, all of those things. But you shouldn't sacrifice your relationship with your spouse either. I think it's not necessarily a catch-22, but it's important that if you are being a good follower of Christ, you're also going to be a good husband or a good wife, because that is part of following Christ. A part of being a Christian is being a good spouse. So it's one and the same. You still have that personal relationship that comes first, but you can't ignore your relationship with your spouse to be a better Christian. I think it's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough to juggle all those things. And you think about it with kids, especially after 18 years, that's what, 90% of the time you spend with them. After that, they move out and go to college or get a job or go to trade school or something like that, and they're gone.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm talking about. Once they're gone, how do you and I, and not just you and I, but everyone else within marriage, how do we make sure that that doesn't happen, that once they leave, I'm like, oh crap, that's you and I again?
Who's this person?
Who are you? I don't want that to happen, and I think I've voiced that. I've made that very clear. We have to focus on each other.
Yeah.
Because the kids, they're going to come and go, as they should.
Yeah.
It's important that we still find ourselves constantly in love with each other. I mean, through the good, the bad, and ugly, constantly in love with each other, constantly yearning and wanting to spend that quality time, whether it's intimacy or whether it's just a conversation.
Right. And that kind of leads into my second point. The first point was those small acts of kindness, the gifts, the small acts of just doing things for one another, whatever it is around the house or with the kids, or taking out the trash, mowing the lawn for each other. Mm-hmm. Those all can be acts of kindness in their own way. However, the main point I think a lot of couples are missing, and it's something we struggled with early in our relationship, is communication.
100%.
And I don't just mean like, hey, good morning, or, texting back and forth throughout the day. I mean actual communication of your feelings, because not only is our relationship spiritual and physical, obviously there's intimacy, but it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional support. And how can you have that emotional support if you can't have those conversations with your spouse? If you're not having those.
And I think we learned early on, we had to work towards, me.
Yeah, you're an open book.
I'm very much an open book. Yeah. Absolutely. But we had to learn how to break down those walls that you put up at the beginning of our relationship. And I think once we were able to do that, and I voiced to you, Matt, this is not going to work unless there is that open line of communication. You have to be able to express to me how you're feeling. Yeah. Whether I want to hear it or not, I need to know what's going on, because I can't be a good partner, I can't be a good spouse if I don't know how to help you.
Right, yeah. And I think that's true of a lot of men, especially from my generation and before. It's, you don't talk about your feelings. You keep those inside. You are always strong. You don't cry. Boys don't cry.
Right.
Very famous movie.
But it's okay, and it's always safe to share those emotions with your spouse.
Yeah, it's important, and I'd say it's probably the most important part of a marriage is sharing your feelings, and not just your feelings, but even just your thoughts and desires and what you want out of life, where you want to go, what do you want to be
together and separately, as an individual.
Your spouse is a mirror of you. You've got to look into that other person, and they're going to reflect what you put.
Yeah.
So it's important that you are open with your mirror, so they can not necessarily judge you, but they can help you become that person that you want to be. And it's very important to be honest with your partner.
We've talked communication first and foremost.
Right.
Okay. What else?
I don't know. I came up with the first two. Yours. We haven't talked about intimacy yet.
Well, I feel like we're jumping ahead here.
Are we? This is our podcast. Who
set the rules here? All right. Let's talk about intimacy.
I mean, we can always circle back to some examples if that's what you were alluding to, if that's what we missed out on, those small things.
Well, yeah, we'll come back to those small things.
Yeah, I was just trying to highlight what the three aspects were that we were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Intimacy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how important it is.
Well, why is it important in a relationship? I can say from a man's perspective why it's important. Men are very visual creatures, and I think that's a pretty well-known fact. Men like to look at things.
Yeah.
They're very visual people. In this society that we're in, especially in today's culture, sex is everywhere. You can look at a TV show, movie, book.
I mean, you just open up your Instagram account and bam.
Yeah. TikTok, Facebook, all social media. You've got magazines. Are those still around?
I think magazines are still around. I mean, you're right. No, it's everywhere. I think everything is so sexualized.
Yeah.
In today's world.
It is a huge temptation. And not just for men. I think women can struggle with
absolutely.
it too.
Not only is it a temptation, but I think it sets you up, especially for a young person. For someone young, it sets you up to unrealistic sexual expectations.
Sure. And I also feel like it's a temptation in a marriage because it detracts from that relationship.
Yeah.
You're looking at other people and other situations instead of looking inward in your own relationship. So it's taking something away that should be given to your partner.
Agreed.
And you're focusing your attention outside of your marriage. I mean, not in the same aspect necessarily as cheating, although, it's very similar.
Yeah. I mean, but
you are taking something that should be naturally involved in your relationship and going to an outside source.
And it's so easy to do that because I think today it's become so normalized.
It's become so normalized, and the fact that it's digital means that there's no actual relationship on the other side of it. So it's easy to disconnect.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm not cheating because I'm not actually with another woman or with another man or whoever. It's digital. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just looking at stuff. But you got to realize that it's totally affecting the relationship you have with your spouse.
Because that should be something that you should be sharing with your partner, with your spouse, inside the bedroom. Like, I think that's how you develop the healthiest relationship, when you can explore things with just your partner and not seeking it outside of that.
Yeah.
Keeping it intimate, keeping it healthy, keeping it special and close to your heart.
Yeah. And intimacy goes beyond the bedroom.
Absolutely.
It goes to hand-holding in public.
Yeah.
Just walking together, spending time together.
Love languages,
Yeah, everybody's got a different love language.
Mine's definitely touch. And like you mentioned, just holding hands, just random kisses throughout the day.
Yeah.
But also, like,
cuddling for like 30 seconds or less.
And then get off of me because I'm so hot. It's cute in theory, but let's be honest.
Why is it in every movie you see the couples sleeping together and you're like,
nobody actually does that.
That's not marriage.
No.
Marriage is cuddle for a second, then roll over.
Yeah, it's too hot. I'm getting claustrophobic. Get off of me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about specific things that I feel like you and I do in our marriage to kind of keep that intimacy, keep that romance, keep that zhuzh, if you will. Is that the right term?
The intimacy thing, it can look like a lot of different things. Sometimes it's just, you've had a long day, so I take care of everything. I make dinner. I make sure the kids get showered and get ready for bed. I clean up the kitchen. I take out the trash, and I don't say anything. I'm not looking for recognition from that. But I just do it all because I know you've had a stressful day.
And man, that is the most attractive thing.
And sometimes when it's not been a stressful day, I'll still do all of those things just because I know
it's exhausting. And I mean, it helps me out. And there's nothing more attractive than a man who's doing laundry, a man that's doing dishes.
I always do the laundry.
Well, that's a topic for another day. But the point is, there's nothing more attractive than a man willing to help his partner out. And it could be, like you mentioned, as simple as taking out the trash, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, and it goes a long way. Like, it's a small act of kindness, but it goes a long way.
Yeah. And another thing you can do as far as an act is when you're at the grocery store and you're picking out some things and you're there by yourself, go down the greeting card section and pick something out for your wife.
You do that often, and it's so sweet.
Yeah, just randomly. I just go down there, and cards, I mean, granted, they're not as cheap as they were 20 years ago, but they're still pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
And just picking something out, regardless of what the actual card says. I mean, how many times have I bought a card that says, like, happy birthday on it, and I just cross it out and just say, happy day?
You do that often. You just did it for Mother's Day.
It is not my fault they were sold out of Mother's Day cards.
Well, that's what happens when you wait to the last minute. Yeah.
It was probably past the last minute, considering it was
the day. You know what? We still got a card, and that's all that matters. It was the thought that counts.
Other things, I mean, take the car to the car wash or clean out her car and
take me in the car to go to the car wash. Like, going for a car ride, just you and I, where we can have a conversation. Yeah. I love that. We're gonna go pick up takeout. Take me with you. I want to go. I just want to spend time with you.
Yeah. Or for those of us that commute, I don't. Lucky enough, I get to work from home all of the time. Call your spouse when you're driving home.
Oh, that's the best.
Spend some time as soon as you get off of work, not just unloading about your day, but just checking in. Because, you know, when you get home, everything kicks into gear, and you've got 40 things you got to do before you get to bed.
You clock out of one job to clock into the next.
But that downtime between clocking out at work and driving home is free time.
Yeah. Uninterrupted time.
Yeah.
That we don't get.
As long as your spouse on the other end is capable of doing the same. Right. Granted, they might be working a different shift, or they might be with the kids and not be able to take the phone call, but that may not be always the case. As somebody who used to commute, just like to get in the car and zone out. Turn up the music, roll the windows down, and just zonk as you're driving, you know, go into autopilot.
Yeah.
And get home because you're just over the workday.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened where I'll be driving and then, oh crap, how did I get here?
Yeah, that's not good.
That's after a really long day.
That's called distracted driving. Pretty sure it's one of the main reasons for accidents. We should work on that.
Yeah, we'll work on that. I'm just saying it happens.
So what are some ways that you show your intimacy towards me?
Oh, a big one. This has always been a big one for me. I refuse to go to bed angry.
Yeah.
I think I can honestly, as long as you and I have been together, there may have only been 2 times that come to mind. Would you agree?
Yeah. There were definitely at least 2 times.
And we've been together for what? 12 years now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. But it's huge. And I've always told you, like, no, I don't care what it is. We're going to squash it out.
Yeah.
Whatever the argument is, we've got to squash this beef, because come bedtime, you're going to hold my hand. You're going to cuddle me for all of the 30 seconds because I need that. That is my love language, is touch, and just bedtime is important for me.
So that's important for you. What's something you do for me?
What's something that I do for you? Well, I mean, recently what comes to mind is I've learned, it's only taken me 12 years to learn this, but in the mornings when you get up, I can't bombard you with, I have a mouth, okay? And I ramble. You know this. Like, I'm in your face. But I've realized first thing in the morning, do not talk to this man until he's had his cup of coffee. And I know I'm learning this because you voiced it to me.
Only a billion times.
But now I'm adamant, and I try to hold my tongue. I'm learning to hold my tongue in the morning, give you your coffee, and I know you appreciate that.
I do. And it's not like I'm just grumpy in the morning. It's literally that my brain's not even running yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the morning, I get up at 5 o'clock.
Well, that's because I've been up since 4, and I'm ready to.
I guess. But even when you wake up at 4, you're still ready to go, ready to talk, ready to...
I'm a morning person.
And I'm just like, please put me out of my misery. I hate morning.
Yeah,
And
I know.
it's a struggle for me in the morning. If it wasn't for coffee,
Yeah.
I wouldn't survive. Coffee better never go away.
Another really important thing for you and I is there is not one day that goes by that we don't say, I love you, whether
Yeah.
it's over text, whether it's in person. I mean, honestly, we've never not said, I love you.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the things that you do really well that is a sign of intimacy for me from you is just your emotional support. You're my biggest fan, biggest supporter.
I literally said that to you yesterday. I said,
I know, but it's tough because I can be pretty self-deprecating. I can struggle with self-esteem, and having you in my corner just telling me I can do it, telling me I can make it happen, and believing in me. It is such a huge benefit to be able to rely on that support whenever I need it.
Well, that's good to hear.
I think it's really helped since we met until now. It's been one of the biggest factors in bringing us to where we are.
Yeah. And then for me, I mean, you were like the best listener, like the best. We had friends that would come to you and just share all of their problems. Like, you're just that guy. But it's huge for me because I need to be able to like emotionally dump.
Yeah.
And you are that one person I can do that with. You are my rock. You're my safe space. And you've always been there. You've always done that for me.
And I think that's another thing that people struggle with is that form of communication, being not just an active listener, but sometimes you don't need to respond to what the person's telling you. Not saying just let them talk and ignore them, but I mean, don't offer advice.
I'm working on that.
Yeah. I think I do a really good job.
You've always done a great job.
It's because I know that when I talk about stuff, I don't want to hear advice. I just want to unleash it. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I was so bad at communicating, is because I didn't want to hear what other people thought of the situation. I just want somebody to listen.
Yeah.
So I can work through the problem. Or I can just say, well, there is nothing I can do about it. I just need to get it off my chest. It's really important to be able to have those conversations, being as one-sided as they are. Just being open with your partner and saying, hey, I need to tell you something, but I don't need a response other than, it's okay, I love you.
Let's grab a drink and a blanket. I'm here.
I mean, you can say at the end, if you want to talk about this again, let's do it. If you need help, let me know. Just let them know that you are listening.
Yeah.
It is so important to remember what people say. When they tell you special things like that, especially your spouse. Don't put yourself on autopilot when your spouse is talking
you
to you.
can't.
And that's one of the main reasons why in the mornings I say don't talk to me, is because I truly do want to know what you're saying, but I am just not capable of comprehending it that early in the morning.
It's too early.
So I feel like you would just start talking and unloading me and then ask me a question. I'd be like, I have no earthly idea what you said. You're gonna have to repeat that. And then there'd be a fight. You get mad. You weren't listening. You were just saying, I couldn't even tell you if I was responding to you.
Sign of intimacy for you and I very recently. Learning to pray together.
Yeah.
It's important that we get our one-on-one time with God, but then when you and I together open our hearts, surrender to Him.
Yeah.
It's been huge.
Yeah, I agree. And when you have questions about a specific chapter or verse that you've read in the Bible, being able to discuss those with your partner is important. Because it can be hard to talk to somebody else at church about it or in a small group, but if you can't talk about it to your partner, who can you talk to?
Exactly.
It's important to have that shared faith and have those conversations with each other and share in your relationship, your learning and what you found today. Or, I mean, it doesn't even have to be questions. Just be like, hey, I've read this passage
I want
today.
to talk to you about
I want
it.
to talk to you about it. Like, I really loved this.
Or it's resonating, or, oh my gosh, this is like, how relevant is this for right now? That
How many times in the last couple of months you've been like, I keep hearing the same message over and over again. God's really trying to tell me something.
And it's not by accident. And and you're always so supportive, and you're always willing to listen and just prayer to like all together has been so good. So let's talk about overcoming roadblocks. We've given the listeners all of these great, wonderful ideas, but it's not always that simple. I mean, there are roadblocks. The biggest one that we hear constantly, I'm too tired. I mean, we've been guilty of that, both you and I. I'm too tired.
Me more so than you.
Yeah, I wasn't going to call you out, but yeah, you're right.
It's okay. I'm self-deprecating. It's difficult, especially in an intimate setting after a long day and after dealing with the kids, getting them to bed, and then you're in the bedroom and your partner's into it and you're just not, and you're tired. Well, you got to remember it's not just about you, yourself.
Right.
This is something you're sharing with your partner, and you're really giving to your partner, not so much receiving. And that's what's so backwards in today's society with intimacy and sexuality is it's not about getting. It's not about making you feel good.
Right.
It's about making your partner feel good and giving your partner that intimacy and that pleasure and all of the good things that come with that. You got to overcome it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there are times
where truly you are like, we're done,
or you're not feeling well. There are 1,000 different reasons, but just every single time, I'm too tired for that. No, I don't want to do that. Well, it's not always just about you. It's a necessary and it's a healthy part of your relationship, and you've got to give yourself to your partner just like you do in everything else.
I completely agree. Being resentful or uneven workloads, like I do everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh. How many times have we had that argument?
I've got 1,000,001 things. Yeah, uneven workload. Let's talk about that. Obviously, we talked about God being the top.
Yeah.
Spouse being second. Children being third. Everything else. At least in our relationship, you've overextended yourself by always making yourself available to other people.
Yeah.
And not just your extended family, but friends.
Just commitment.
Always volunteering because you're a giver. You always want to help. You want to be that person. And I love that about you. But you 100% overextend yourself and don't leave me anything at the end.
Not all the time, but
no. And I don't mean to say that you still do that because I think you've definitely worked on that.
Yeah, I've reeled it in for sure.
Yeah, in the last year, you've definitely worked on a lot of that. But it was a struggle for me because I would come and try and talk to you about something. You'd be like, I can't even think about this. I got 1,000,001 things going on. I can't even think about that. You're just going to have to deal with it. I'm trying to talk to you about something.
You needed me, and I wasn't realizing it in the moment. Yeah.
And so it's important to remember you can only control what's in your four walls of your house.
That was a hard pill for me to swallow, for sure.
Your focus needs to go there before it goes anywhere else. But on the flip side of that, I think it's also easy for men to think that everything that goes on inside the house is the woman's responsibility.
And that's not true.
Yeah. Especially in the circumstance where you're both working full-time jobs. Why would I expect you to do everything inside the house?
I think it would be a different situation if I wasn't working. But it's unrealistic.
Even in that scenario, if you were a stay-at-home mom, which I know some of our friends are.
Which for me, I couldn't.
Yeah, I would be nuts. But obviously, because I'm not a mom. If I was a stay-at-home dad, yeah, it would probably drive me nuts. But you need relief.
Yes.
Because although I get to clock out from my job and come home, you don't get to clock out from being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So in those scenarios, if your wife is a stay-at-home mom, come home, make dinner. Let the wife go and take a bubble bath by herself for 15 minutes or half an hour or however long she wants to do it. You know, on the weekends, take the kids out to breakfast while she go gets her nails.
Or let her sleep in.
Or let her sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all they want. Let them watch what they want to watch while you go in the living room
her read that
watch
book.
Bluey.
Let her read that book in her room. Take the kids.
Yeah, take the kids out on a walk or to the park and just let her veg for some get some downtime. But even with non-stay-at-home moms like you and I, we're dual income, right?
Yeah.
We have our full-time jobs. Splitting up the chores in the house. You may do the mopping and the sweeping, but I do the dishes, trash.
I couldn't be with a
You
partner.
start the laundry, I finish it.
Yeah. Well,
every time.
Every time. I know. I couldn't be with a type of man that just refused to help me around the house. That
Or
wouldn't
even
work.
when we had the kids, it's not your responsibility to change every diaper. It's not your responsibility to feed
Do
them
all the
every
feedings. Yeah.
every bottle.
Yeah.
Especially because we had twins. Like, I can't imagine trying to force my wife to have to take care of both children all of the time. In the beginning, I mean, getting up every couple hours to do feedings, and
It was tough.
it's like, yeah, they're on a 3-hour schedule, but they're half-hour intervals. Or,
But you know
one
what?
would wake up at 2 a.m. and the other one would wake up at 3 a.m.
But it was in those moments, those early moments of us becoming parents, seeing you help me out. You did everything that you could, whether it was cleaning pump parts, it was feeding or changing diapers. Like, it was in that moment that I fell more in love with you and realized, oh, this is my man. This is my partner. This is my spouse. And we're in it together, and he's not going to leave me hanging.
Or when friends or family would ask you, does he help with all that stuff? Like, does he really do all of that stuff? And you're like, yeah. Why?
These are his kids too.
That's not normal. I feel like our generation of men has gotten better about that, normalizing the father role in child raising, but it was not normal.
It was kind of mind-blowing to me when we did get those comments, like, he does all that? Like, yeah, he does all that. Again, these are his kids too.
He's got to do bath time.
Yeah, it's kind of how that works.
Yeah. Or when they throw up.
Well, that's, I don't do well with vomit.
Throw ups, my.
I refuse. I just can't. Do you want to be cleaning up 2 sets of vomit?
Except for that one time where we were at Buffalo Wild Wings. And Lana spit up some of her food.
They were about 3. Yeah.
Spit something up in my hand.
Oh, that was bad.
And I immediately
ran to the bathroom.
Sick.
Yeah. I don't
know if it was a texture thing, but it was just
which is so weird because you do so well with.
I do well with everything. Trash, kids, poop, vomit, all that stuff doesn't bother me.
I don't know what it was.
Like that one time, it was just chewed up French fry or something.
And it wasn't even like she just chewed up. It wasn't even swallowed and regurgitated. I mean, it was just a French fry. So I don't know what happened. The one time Wade projectile vomited on me. It was a scene from The Exorcist, and I didn't know.
You screamed so loud.
I didn't know what to do because I couldn't chunk my baby across the room. It scared me.
Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah. Good times. Good time.
Fun times racing.
Okay. Let's reel it back in, circle back. So one more roadblock that I want to talk about because I also think it's important. It should never feel forced or unnatural. Right?
Yeah.
It should always be a mutual understanding. And if you're feeling that anything is feeling forced or I don't want to, it can't be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely got to do some deep introspection if it's forced because it should come naturally. And maybe it's just the fact that you don't know what your partner wants out of you.
So then let's take the time, and if it is feeling forced, it's feeling have the discussion.
Yeah.
What can I do? What am I not doing?
And if you're noticing your partner not responding.
Yeah.
Hey, can we talk? Can we have a moment? Yeah.
Circles back to communication.
Communication is
funny how that works.
Communication is key.
I think it's safe to say you can still keep the romance alive, but it takes intention, discipline, and reliance on the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Yes. If you at all liked this video, if you liked our discussion, we genuinely hope that you'll take the time to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. And again, if you have any prayer requests or any recommendations on show topics, like Matt mentioned, please send us an email. That's going to be the best way to get a hold of us. And again, that email is down in the show notes. We'll see you in 2 weeks.